Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and I hope you're having a great day. It is now a new month, so I hope everyone had a great 4th of July. So when you think of July, you think of freedom. So this month's entire theme is called Free From. This week I will be talking about something that God has taken control of completely, something that I completely surrendered to Him. So here is your ammo for the week. Now this week's title is called God, Alcohol, and My Story. Now for those who don't know me, I was a drinker up until I moved here to Ohio in 2015. So next month marks 5 years that I have been completely sober, and I could not be more happier, and I could not be in such a better place than I was 5 years ago. So one of the things I want to talk about is alcohol and how it consumed my life. And by no means am I condemning anyone who drinks alcohol and who are believers, but I wanted to share what alcohol did to me. Now I know that I have some friends and maybe even some family who have seen a switch in me, some in which would agree, and some in which are like, there's no way that Alicia changed within months of her moving to Ohio. But I want to tell you that we are not on our time, we are on God's time, and when you are ready to surrender everything to Him, He can change your entire life in a blink of an eye. And that is exactly what He did to me. For those who knew me before I came to Ohio and saw me in that scene, seeing me now, I'm a completely different person. And like I said before, I won't ever take it back, and I won't ever go back. Now, when I first started drinking, I was around 16 or 17 years old. I took my first sip at prom. It was a small sip of literally nothing. And then the next time I drank, I was in a friend's garage, which again wasn't barely anything. And then I saw myself gradually growing into drinking alcohol every time I either A, went to work, or B, hung out with any of my coworkers. And I'm still friends with some of them to this day. But I realized that while I began to drink, I also began to hurt as well. Every time I drank, I was always reminded of what I was currently going through at that time. And at that time, I didn't have identity in Christ. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was called to do on this earth. And many times, there was times where I would try to figure out how I could kill myself. So there's a lot of times that I try to commit suicide. At least one failed attempt didn't go as planned, but no one really knew that at that time. No one really in my head cared about what was going on, and I just felt like the world would be a better place. So alcohol really took me to a place where I had no control anymore. I found myself doing things with people I shouldn't be doing. I found myself in homes the next morning, and I didn't remember how I got there. I would also find myself in, one time I found myself in my own car that I had been with someone in there, but when I woke up, I was by myself. Then eventually I started finding myself going to church, either A, hungover, or B, still a little drunk from the night before, which never ended up until 7 a.m. that morning. So alcohol was something that I just used as an excuse so that I wouldn't deal with what I was going through. Now, alcohol, there was always those times where there was fun. You know, alcohol, it was at the beginning something that was socially for me, something that my friends did, so I did. But once I realized that one drink led to another and one shot led to many, I began to paralyze myself from what I was going through. So alcohol has really changed my life when I started to consume it. Now, alcohol growing up was never in my household. My parents never drank it. I saw other people drink it, and I saw the effect it had on them. So I told myself I would never drink alcohol, but there I was drinking alcohol. So as a Christian, there's a question that I've always been asked, or I even asked myself when I started my journey back to Christ, was, is alcohol bad? Is alcohol going to send me to hell? And I realized that a sip of alcohol, a glass of wine, that beer you want to have with your steak dinner, I personally don't believe that that will send you to hell. But what I do believe is that there's never just that one drink that you'll take. You will always take another one. And I don't want to just give my opinion about it, but there's research that I did about alcohol and why people drink it. So one reason why I started drinking alcohol was because it was a social thing. I had friends that did it, awesome, so I did it. And then there's people that take it because maybe they've had a long day, maybe they're a little stressed, and so alcohol tends to kind of relieve them of that, which, if that's what you want to do, fine. But for me, when I wanted to be relieved, I always took it to the next level, and I put myself in situations that even my own friends didn't want to be around me. And I'm still friends with those people today, and they've told me they like this Alicia better than they did before, because that Alicia was a wreck. So with the research that I did, there's a few things that I wanted to share with you, because like I said, I don't want to just give opinions. I also want to give facts about drinking. Drinking can consume you. Drinking can take you to a place that you don't want to find yourself, especially if it becomes an addiction. People drink to wind down, or to if they're fighting with someone, or in other words, coping. People drink to cope as well. So there's a few facts that I wanted to share with you that I found. In 2010, people between the ages of 15 and 49 misused alcohol was the 5th risk factor for premature death and disability. In 2012, 3.3 million deaths were from alcohol. In 2014, the World Health Organization reported that alcohol contributed to over 200 injuries and health-related addictions. So I say all this to say that I had found myself in a situation where I did want to kill myself, where I was drinking and driving purposely in hopes I would crash and die. And if there's also times where I would find myself driving after I had drank, and I wanted to swerve into like maybe an 18-wheeler. So I could have been a part of that number in 2014. I could have been a part of that number in 2012. But God really stepped in. Many researchers have found that drinking alcohol to cope with problems is more likely to lead to abuse drinking than social drinking. So researchers have found that when you begin to start using alcohol to cope, you will eventually abuse that. You will drink more than one, more than two, more than three. And instead of dealing with what you're going through, you turn to alcohol, and that can be a very dangerous place. Whether you're a Christian or not, that can be a very dangerous place, and you start putting yourself in danger. Both social and coping motives for consuming alcohol can lead to heavy drinking. So this is stuff that researchers have found. This is stuff that studies have been made for. So I'm coming to you today to say that, will you go to hell if you drink that beer with your dinner? No. But I do want to say that there is purpose in your life, and that drinking can lead to an excessive amount to where you will hurt yourself. And I'm 26 years old, and there is many times where I should have died, where I should have gone through with that suicidal thought that I was having. And I want to let you know that whether you are a Christian or not, you can get help. You can go and you can find yourself a people that will help you, that will go with you through this. And so when I stopped drinking alcohol, it was literally a night to day transformation. Now I'm not gonna say that's for everyone, but for me, in order for me to quit, I had to pull myself out of where I was at. So I moved from Texas to Ohio, not necessarily to stop drinking, but I wanted more in life. So I had to leave my friends, I had to leave my family, I had to leave that town that I was living in to experience God in a more personal way. I've got friends that have called me and said, Alicia, how did this happen? Alicia, how can I get to where you're at? And it's not about how can you get to where I'm at, it's about how can you get to where God is at. And so there's a lot of us out there that are going and turning to alcohol to fill the void in which God is supposed to be filling that void. So I encourage you, if you are dealing with alcohol, get help. Go to someone and say, I'm dealing with something that I'm filling alcohol with to help me. Alcohol is not going to save you. I'm sitting here right now to say that Jesus Christ will. Jesus will take you out of that darkness. Jesus will take you and carry those burdens off of you. You do not have to go through what your mother went through or what your father went through. You don't have to be a statistic. You don't have to be part of that 200. You don't have to be a part of that 3.3 million. You can be a part of a kingdom that God has purposely put inside of you. You do not have to be that. You can be what God has created you to do, in which that was to prophesy, that was to sing his praises every day, morning and night. So if you are watching this and you need help, call somebody. I will put links here in the description of this YouTube channel, and I will do my best to see if I can direct you to the places that you need to. I will put down the websites that I got this information from. I will put down websites that you can go to, numbers that maybe you can call, but I'm letting you know you don't have to stay in that dark place. There is so much more for you. God has called you to be greater than the situation that you are in. I love you guys so much. I hope this helped you. Subscribe to this channel because Ammo is a place where you are not alone. Ammo stands for Adversities Made to Overcome, and one of the adversities that I overcame was the stronghold of alcohol. And I can sit here and tell you that the people that I know that are in alcohol and that are in something that they don't want to be in are just people that the enemy has played with. He has played with their minds, and I'm letting you know that there is so much more. So subscribe, follow, share this video, and I hope that this impacted somebody. I love you guys, and until next time, y'all have a good day. Bye.